Yuri.
There we go. All right, and we're live.
We are live. Okay.
Okay.
What are we doing? I start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Does It Get Better? I'm Neil Rubenstein,
I'm Rich Gaccioni.
and this is a mental health podcast. We both struggle mightily with depression and some other and some other issues, and we felt like if we talked about them, maybe it would help other people cope with their things. Today's episode is
Distractions. You picked this one this week. Excited. I'm excited to know why.
I think we've just explored why. I like to distract myself
That's very true.
with all the things. So I'm never in my I'm never in my head. I'm never alone with myself because I'm always I got 19 things going. I got I'm editing a video, I'm editing a podcast, I'm doing a CNN interview, I got I'm writing jokes, I'm making a meme, what's the word? Flitting?
You're flitting around?
Flitting around. I'm
Yeah.
flitting around.
You're just flitting around? Yeah.
Just flitting around on the internet, on Instagram, TikTok, all the things. I do all the things. I never want to be in here.
Yeah.
Because bad stuff is in there.
So what year did you close off all access to in there and started doing everything outside? One day you're just like, nah, I'm not going to be up here anymore. I'm just going to start.
It has to be when I was real young, man. I don't really remember a time. I mean, I know that ever since, when I was 16, I started like hanging out every night or whatever. Earlier than that, probably just every night, just not being home ever, not just always being into something. And once touring, you know what I mean? Like once I experienced touring, I was like, oh, I'm doing this.
This is a great distraction.
Like, yeah, there's like always something to do, and you're never home. Like you're just like, oh, I know I don't have to see any of the things that remind me of any of the stuff.
Right.
I just go out and I don't really remember. Like I think it's just I've always just blocked out. Like I still block out a ton of stuff. I remember coming to some realizations recently, not even whatever, recently in the grand scheme of things, like maybe 5 years ago. I was like, oh, that's probably why I'm like this.
Yep.
But
definitely
like,
takes a long time.
And then I'm like, oh,
oh yeah.
I'm gonna push that back down.
You're like, yeah. Oh no. You go back to where you came.
You can go this way or you can go this way, but you're going in. Like, I'm not messing around with you anymore.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Distract?
I watch you distract yourself on Instagram all day.
Yeah, distractions too. Like I wanted to clarify too, or not clarify, just discuss like just some distractions are healthy, some are not healthy, and some are just like needed, right? I think there's different like gauging of what a distraction is. Like completely engulfing your time with things that aren't things that you might need to deal with is like unhealthy distraction. Like
say it slower because I'm very stupid.
Basically,
you know what I mean? Like once
using a million things to distract yourself from an issue that you know is important that you might have to deal with. that's kind of like an unhealthy behavior, unhealthy distraction. But the distraction itself isn't unhealthy. It's not like you're just, for lack of a better term, like abusing a drug to distract yourself from a personal internal problem. You're creating. It's a healthy distraction, or it's a not healthy, not bad. It's just a distraction. Then there's
what if it's like I mean, so like people be like, oh, working is a good distraction, but like at some point you're working 68 hours a week and you're like,
that's unhealthy. Then what? That's unhealthy. Yeah. Then you're just avoiding the problem altogether, So I distract myself. So to your question, yeah, I started exercising again, in a way to sort of put my brain into it is holding myself accountable by posting something on Instagram or whatever whenever I work out, because people have reached out and be like, oh, yo, that helped motivate me to buy a weight and, start working out. Great. That's the point. You know what I mean? That's like, I like distracting myself with that. I got a bird feeder, and that's why I keep looking outside, because the bird feeder's right outside this window here. I keep looking out, and now what's that?
So it's distracting.
It is distracting, literally right now. But I got a bird feeder, and it's hanging on this post in this tree that I have in my backyard, and that is like a good distraction for me in the morning, so I don't immediately open my eyes and just go, fuck, you know what I mean, and just start thinking of this stuff. So I'll wake up in the morning.
Damn it, the pills didn't work.
I make my coffee, I let George out, and then I sit down at this desk and I play a little Magic the Gathering online, and I look out the window and I watch the birds. Have I become that age where I'm like that person where I watch the birds? I guess so, because it's actually a little bit of a distraction to help me pull out of that, if I had a bad dream or whatever, and it's still kind of ruminating in the brain, being oh, that negative thing you were thinking about last night. I can distract myself. I go, oh, all right, birds. Oh, look at that bird. And then I'll text my family, because they like to know what birds showed up, if a cardinal or blue jay or something cool. And I text the family oh, check it out. And then the unhealthy distraction, I think, is when I start doing something that can add to negativity. If I start distracting myself with this is it's a wild thing, that when I play Magic and start losing a bunch, it's a hobby, but it's also a distraction. It's a mental distraction. So you have to think. It's like a puzzle. It's a strategy. But if I start losing, and you'll know this from gambling and poker and stuff, you start chasing your losses, even in a game, because I play on a ranked system. When you win, you climb the ladder. When you lose places. It's a ranking system. So you want to always do better. So when you win, great, you win. You have a positive uptick. But then when you lose that space. And if I start going on a losing streak and I go lose and lose and lose and lose, then that distraction becomes unhealthy, because then I start getting frustrated, and then I start thinking about all the crap that like we've said before, we get on that that negative thinking tangent. Oh, I keep losing. Oh, I'm an awful human being. Oh, why am I even here? I should just give up. I should just delete the game. You know what I mean? It's just that we spiral. So that distraction sometimes is unhealthy too, but I've recognized now in my current state, and where I have been able to help myself in those situations where I'm this is just stupid to think that this has any bearing on me whatsoever if I'm losing at a video game. A year ago, it was on top of all the other stuff, it was the end of the world. You know what I mean? It was just I'm the worst, but now it's just kind of I have to make sure that I keep level-headed, and I let this just be a distraction or fun, rather than something that matters in the long run, which it doesn't at all. So I like my distractions, but I also kind of wish I had more. I wish I had more interactive things with people, or I don't know. I guess music is something that I miss doing. Even though I'm doing it, I have new band and a current band and stuff that I'm involved with. It's just like I wish I could like play music. I'm sure everybody in our circle of friends wishes they could play music out again. That's like one of the biggest distractions, but positive things that was in all of our lives. Be able to like play a show, have our friends come, enjoy, just that one night of playing Magic, playing music, and all the things that come with it, man. It's a bummer. I want it back.
I mean, I guess we don't want to get into this, right? But so now there's like a new strain.
Yep.
But they're saying the vaccine might not work on.
Right. Of course.
Well, I'm sorry, you broke up. What happened?
I just said of course. Like, of course there is, right? Like,
so like this is just permanent now? This is just permanent. This is just how we're gonna be forever. Like, this is it. There's no more live anything. Everyone, whatever. The middle of the country acts like nothing happened, and then the coasts stay locked up in there. It just makes me feel like, well, then we should have just not done anything. You know what I mean? Like, we should have let it kill all the people it was going to kill, and then it would have gone away on its own. Instead, we like messed with it, and now it's like madder.
It's
yeah. You understand where I'm coming from with that? Like, now it's just like we pissed the thing off, and it's like, I was just gonna kill 3 million of you, but you had to come after my cousin,
right? And now it's made itself even more tough to
I don't know. I mean, whatever. I don't want to get into it because everyone gets mad when you. Everyone gets mad when you have an opinion. So I use, like, I guess it's work, right? I mean, it's how I pay my rent, so it's work. Well, it's how I paid my rent. Now I don't know.
Now it's just a big question mark. How is anybody paying for anything?
Yeah, now I'm hoping Biden helps me pay my rent. I'm hoping for some universal basic income. That's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, it was how I pay my rent, so it's like I'm in that habit. It's work. I get lost in work. I just work all day. Are you hearing the dings?
I am. Yeah, can you turn those down?
I don't know how to turn it off. How do I turn it off?
I don't know what it is, but I hear it.
It's my Facebook Messenger. I don't want it. I want it to stop. I don't. Chrome. Can I turn the volume down on just Chrome? Is this why I'm supposed to wear headphones when we do this?
Probably.
Yes, I just get lost.
You just get lost in work, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't think that's like what you just said about like somebody who works like 60, 80, 100 hours a week. And some people have to do it. Some people do it because that's the way they are. But some people do it willingly, like to escape, like a distraction. So we have to clarify, like, not every distraction is an unhealthy one, right? Like enjoying your work and working is a distraction only if you have something that you're trying to be distracted from, right? So you probably have a lot of things, as do I, as do probably a lot of people who listen, have things in their head that they want to be distracted from because they cause a negative reaction when you get into them, right? Like if you thought about how's your foot situation, by the way? Let's use that as an example. How's that going?
Long version, short version.
Let's do concise version.
Concise version, it's healing.
Okay, it's healing. Is there anything about that
There's a
situation?
light. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, good. Is there anything about that situation that you need to be distracted from at this point?
Well, I mean, the anxiety I'm riddled with. That's like, so I got resistance bands,
Mm-hmm.
and I started doing to try and build the muscles in my leg a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then I spoke to my doctor, and I was like, I know I'm not supposed to put weight on it, but resistance bands are okay, right? And he's like, no, hell no. Like, stop doing that immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Stop.
so now I'm like, oh, I did that. Like, I'm probably never gonna walk again. And I did permanent damage. I'm not gonna be able to walk. Or it's gonna be like a year. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I'm gonna go to the doctor, and he's gonna be like, oh, you didn't follow my orders, so now the boot has to be on another 6 weeks, and then when the boot comes off, it's 6 weeks before you can walk, and you have to, come to this awful hospital for physical therapy 3 times a week, and
Yeah, it's doing its thing. Yeah. Yeah. And these are all things that your brain is telling you. It's not the reality. It's kind of,
of
yeah,
course, I'm
right.
sure it's fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rational Neil is like, dude,
I love how we live these two people live within us, and us as I mean like you and I and everyone
I
who
feel like everybody is
everybody has that. I mean it's not just like a unique thing to people who are just uniquely depressed or have issue with internal emotion stuff, but
the other day, Kathleen, it's late. It's midnight. We're going to bed. Kathleen's trying to go to bed, and my shorts. I've been hanging my shorts. It's because I'm strapped. I'm not getting dressed for anybody, so I'm just
right.
wearing the same pair of gym shorts for 6 weeks. But like only when company's over.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'm in boxers.
Right.
I'm in boxers right now, as is everybody on Zoom in the whole world.
No pants anywhere.
There's no pants pandemic. It should be the no pants demic. Yeah, they pay me for I don't know why. So
you're getting paid for this?
I get paid, not for this, but So the shorts were hanging on the hamper,
Mm-hmm.
and they were hanging like I fold them in half once, and then I lay them in half over the hamper.
Okay.
And like the other leg came over.
Okay.
So I know in my sleep they're gonna fall off the thing. Because that's how gravity works. I'm like, those are gonna fall, and then I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and on my walker, and the walker leg is gonna get caught in the shorts, and I'm gonna break my other leg.
Right, of course, something insane is gonna happen. Of course.
Yeah, my mom is gonna be resurrected and light the house on. So, Kathleen turns off the light and is walking to bed, and I'm like, babe, can you just fix my shorts? Fix my shorts. And she's like, what? They're fine. Yo, I couldn't. I would have fist fought her. You know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy I was.
Right.
I was like, no, you just fold them. Just what? Like, what is, dude? What the hell is wrong with you? Just. And then in the morning, Kathleen's like, "Did you wake me up to fix your shorts?" I'm like, yeah, I'm insane. I'm sorry. I had a thing. I had a moment.
Yeah.
It was like I couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to get on with life at that point. It's just crazy. I'm just. That's why I need distractions. That's why I gotta put. Bloop, and
just
put on Faceless Burial or Tomb Mold and just
just let it take you away. There's an episode of Wings where so Joe, the good the good brother of the two brothers in Wings. He has a very similar story in one episode where his girlfriend said that he woke up in the middle of the night because his shoes were touching in the closet, and he had to make sure they weren't touching because that's how he is. So the whole time you were telling that story, I was thinking of Joe Hackett. But
when you were talking about the birds,
yeah,
I was thinking about this comedian Ali Sadiq.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar?
I've heard of that name. Yeah.
I mean, when his special came out, I was pimping him all over the place, so you might have heard me mention it. I put in the chat, and I'll put in the comments on the Facebook in case anybody wants it too. This is him doing a bit about like going to watch the birds. And he's from like a bad area, and he has like criminal relationships, and he's been to prison, and he's been a gang member, and he takes one of his like old gang buddies, and he's like, no, we're gonna go to the park, we're gonna watch the birds. It's very common. And they're just sitting in the park eating trail mix, watching the birds. And then like at the end of the day, he's like, the like thugged out one's like, you know, he's like, oh, it was calm, right? He was like, yeah, it was awesome. He's like, don't tell another mother. It's so great. It's a really good story. It's a really good story. It's so funny. He's so funny. And
but see, watching the birds, it's a great distraction. It's a great it takes you away. It takes you away from whatever I don't know what it is. It's just like the anticipation of seeing like a new one. Like I saw a cardinal and a blue jay all within 2 days of each other, and the cardinal has like a meaning in our family. The cardinal represents my grandmother. She had liked cardinals. Like if we see a cardinal, my mom's always like, oh, that's mama. So like a cardinal came out of nowhere the other day, and I actually got to snap a picture of it and send it to my mom. She's like, oh, that's mama. But like, it's like, what am I going to see today? And then I was at Job Lot. You guys have Job Lots? Yeah, you have Job Lot down there.
We have Big Lots.
You have Job Lot too. Yeah, and you have Big Lots, but you have Job Lot too. Ocean State Job Lot. Because my sister, because it's my favorite store. It's like one of those. It's basically like Big Lots discount store, whatever. You find just junk and you just buy it for no reason. But
actual wholesale liquidators.
Yeah, exactly. I go to Job Lot, and now I go to like the bird food section, and I'm like, what food should I get this time? Okay, so cardinals like sunflowers. Should I spend $9 on the sunflower mix, or should I spend $12 and get the bigger bag that has the difference? Like now I'm this like bird guy, but it's like fun.
It's like, do like squirrels and stuff hang out in there?
Yeah. So, and that's another thing. It's like, do you want to get the food that like attracts more vermin, or do you want to get the food that's like more for birds? But yeah, there's like a squirrel who like fights the birds and stuff. So now I have this whole like ecosystem of neighborhood birds and squirrels hanging out in my backyard.
What about raccoons? Do you have raccoons up there?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they're around. I don't think we have them like they're a problem, but they're definitely around.
You should try and train them.
Train them to refill the bird feeder.
read up on that. Like Google training raccoons. Like people train raccoons. Like raccoons are super smart.
Are you being facetious?
I'm
or
being 100% earnest.
Really?
Raccoons are like super smart. Like there's a Radiolab episode about like some island where there's like indigenous raccoons, and they like figured out how to get through like the barbed wire fence to get the watermelons. And I don't know, it was like I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it mattered that it was an island. But there was something about like other raccoons also knew like
rival raccoons.
Like could also figure it out, like raccoons on the mainland. I don't know. Maybe that's not it. Maybe I'm mixing up two stories. Raccoons are smart, though.
All right.
I know that for a fact. Raccoons are very intelligent.
Probably the last thing I want is like to train raccoons to come hang out near my house where I have trash cans and neighbors and stuff.
No, but if you train them, it's like they won't mess up your, like they'll know, they'll be, oh, those are Rich's garbage cans. Don't mess with those, because then our watermelon supply is gonna run out.
They'll just wait at my back door, looking all cute, like waiting for instruction or food.
Like, they'll bring you stuff. Like if you could train them to like. They'll film a rap video for George. You know what I mean? They'll be like, all right, if we film a rap video for George, we'll get watermelon at the end of the day.
Jesus. Well, that'll be a good summertime project, summertime distraction project, the raccoon project.
It was a watermelon. I think it was like a watermelon farm, and they were like trying to keep the raccoons out of the watermelon farm, and they like made all these like elaborate traps and stuff. And the raccoons would like dismantle the traps.
Right, they just take them apart and keep
or like put them over by the door. Raccoons are the COVID of the earth. Of the ground, I meant.
Of the
COVID's on earth. That was distracting.
Yeah, right. So do you use distraction? Like I think we like going hand in hand with like last week. No, last week we talked about our childhood avoidance. The avoidance, yeah. Do you differentiate the two? Like avoiding and distracting? For yourself.
Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Is that, I mean, you're more versed at this stuff than I am. I don't know.
I think avoiding is like straight up just like recognizing something is like you don't want to deal with it and you just push it back, right? Distraction is like actually putting forth a tangible thing that relates to what's going on. Like,
so it's different, but it's not really different. It's like two of the same.
Yeah. I think whatever that saying is,
6 to 1,
half dozen the other. Yeah, that saying. It's
Kathleen goes, I mean, she knows she's not dumb. She knows what the real saying is, but she likes to jokingly say, what do you go? 6, she goes 6 or one of another.
6 or one of the other. I like that one.
Right? Is that what you say? 6 or one of another. And the first time she said it, I was like, wait, that's not.
Wait, that's not it.
I was like, that doesn't even make sense. She's like, yeah, it's 6 or it's 1. It doesn't matter. It means it doesn't matter. It's like Joey on Friends. It's a moo point.
A moo point.
It's a moo point. It's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter. It's a moo point.
Did you really say it's a cow's opinion? Is that what he says? Yeah. That's great.
Well, it's a moo point. It's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter. It's a moo point. Oh, I gotta get into Wings, man. I want to start watching Wings.
They have the free channel on Pluto. And you watch.
I don't have Pluto.
It's free. Get it.
Is Pluto on Apple TV?
It's an app of some sort, maybe, probably. I mean, it's on probably all those the boxes that you can get. Or if you have Hulu, it's on Hulu also.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. So.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a good distraction.
I pay for it, so it feels good to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you pay for something, I want to use it.
Yeah.
Like I hate when
you pay your Netflix bill and you haven't watched anything on Netflix.
I haven't watched it in 6 weeks. Yo, dude. I just saw the funniest meme. Because I'm a meme guy. So
you're a memer.
I get all the latest memes. I saw a meme. It was like, to find out if a movie's on Netflix or not, think of a movie you want to watch. It's not on Netflix.
It's very true. That's awesome. I don't know.
That's so funny.
Don't even know why I have Netflix anymore. They took The Office off, and I literally watched The Office every night. That was my going to bed like show, but. Not going to get CBS or whatever NBC Peacock just to watch The Office, so I don't know. And they raised the price again at Netflix. I was paying $9.99 when I last remembered, and now it's $13.99.
So with Netflix, I feel like you got Stranger Things and Ozark, but there nothing's in production right now. I don't know when the next Stranger Things season is coming out.
Yeah.
Um,
I did start watching Twilight Zone.
Wu Assassin is fine. It is interesting. It's I like Iko Uwais. Man, it has some good. It's pretty good for like kung fu movies.
Yeah.
And like foreign you know uh, movies, other foreign language movies. So
If you're into that, yeah.
I mean, the action. Like I'm not like, oh, the French film, blah 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 blah. Off blue nord. Nah, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean. I want to see I watch kung fu movies and
Right.
I got dragged. I got dragged for calling a Thai film a kung fu film.
Oh no.
And they were like, just because they're Asian. I was like, no. I was like, just because the freaking genre is kung fu film. Like, I didn't coin the term.
Right.
No one's got beef with it. Like, it's a kung fu movie. It's just there's a German movie Plan B with a bunch of Germans in it. It's a kung fu film. It's a kung fu movie. I got nothing to do with Asians. Bloodsport's a kung fu movie. Sorry. I make the rules. But my ancestors did.
Jesus.
Which isn't true at all. I was thinking the other day, I get none of the, what's the word? I get none of the not that there's benefit, I don't know. Anti-Semitism is weird, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely weird is one word for it. Sure.
Like non-whites are like, you're white, and then whites are like, whites are like, don't bring that noise around here.
Yeah.
Like, so nobody wants the Jews, and everyone's like, no.
Did you watch Lil Dicky's show? Did you ever watch Dave?
Yeah.
You ever watch Dave on Hulu? Speaking of Jewish humor. Yeah.
What's your name?
Dave.
They say Little Dicky. I say, my name is. What's your name?
It was a really good distraction over the weekend. I watched the season 1 of that show 3 times through, which is
3 times.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, let me tell you, and it's not just because I had nothing better to do,
but
it was funny. It gave me a laugh. It was actually somewhat emotionally investing or taxing, or it was an emotional show. It's an emotional show.
Emotional.
It's a very emotional show, like the relationship stuff and like the stuff with Gata having bipolar.
Your episode is unbelievable.
Like unreal. And I watched it the first time. I was like, oh, this is a funny show. It's Lil Dicky, right? I think it's probably what someone who's uninitiated to it would be like, oh, it's going to be about Lil Dicky, right? If you don't know, and I didn't know. I had no idea what I was getting into. So I was looking at it through this like, oh, it's going to be like dick and fart joke like series.
And
there are, but it wasn't. And then I was like, wait, maybe I should watch it again because I picked up on a couple things that I didn't think were going to be in there. And then I watched it the second time. I gave it like a day, and I watched it the second time. I was like, oh man, and I was like really invested in like. Then the stuff started hitting, and then the third time I watched it, and I was just like, it became like a drama the whole way through because I like attached a lot of things of myself and my own experiences to it. And then it became like this like really relatable and being like, wow, okay. I was like sad. I was like bummed. I was happy. I was like, yo, no, don't do that. Don't say that thing. Don't do that thing. Because like I've seen myself in his situations before. It's a way deeper show than it gives off. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. And I like that about it. What? Yeah, like it does. I like that it does all this stuff and then still has, dick and fart jokes.
Right,
Like
right.
that's what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I see a path for myself through him. You know what I mean? Like, not that I'm gonna rap to get a sitcom, but like the making the deep stuff accessible with the silliness. You know what I mean? Like I that's exactly what I do.
Right.
I present my opinions,
Right.
and then I also will do it on the toilet bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll talk about if I think something's absurd, I'll talk about it in the most absurd way. Like,
Right.
I don't know, whatever. You've seen the stuff I do.
Yeah, I have. And I get it. And it's like, it's a treat to watch you do comedy as your, there's more. It's a treat to watch you do comedy as your good friend, because I know you and I know you well enough to like know that you're not up there like telling a complete like false story just for a laugh.
Yo, that's the best part, man. People would come up to me and be like, yo, that didn't happen. I'll be like, almost exactly how I tell it.
It's true. It's so true. I love it's so entertaining, and with comedians you have to sometimes be like, with comedy I think people go into it always thinking that like the extreme crazy story is just made up but told well, like you're just a good storyteller.
Well, I think that's the key to good comedy. Like, my favorite comedians are all telling, the expression truth in comedy.
Yeah.
My favorite comedians are all telling real stories. And that's what I think is so much fun about like a show like Dave or whatever, anything where it's like, I know it's not autobiographical, but there's elements of realness to that.
Right.
There's an underlying truth that this is just hyperbolic exaggeration of a thing that really happened.
Right.
And that's like, that to me is like, I don't know, that to me is the best kind of comedy. Like when Bill Burr gives an actual opinion and illustrates it in this ultra flamboyant, hyperbolic way.
Right.
That's good. That's good comedy.
Love it.
Me and Christian was talking about not wanting to take morphine, and some guy compared him, like some guy we met at the bar was like, oh no, yeah, I know you're going through it, I didn't want to take morphine either, and then told this like crazy story about like being in the Afghanistan war.
Right.
And it's like, dude, this guy's he got off a stage. Like, what are you, how are you comparing? So that's, so that becomes a joke. Like, whatever he said is now going to get blown way bigger, and whatever the real story is going to be super small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's still rooted in like the reality of the situation. Like, oh, that really happened. That guy really exists.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he wasn't saving a family from a burning building, but you know what I mean? Like, he definitely had a war story.
Yeah.
And, my thing didn't happen at McDonald's, but it definitely was like stupid and insignificant. I don't know if that's a good example or not. It's probably a stupid example. I'm so dumb. I should kill myself. Edit that out. Trigger warning.
Yeah. I guess watching a show like that, or just being observant to comedy, or wherever you want to look at it through whatever lens, like is a distraction from your own life. But the weird thing is when you start relating to it, you're like, oh man, and you kind of come full circle. Like, I'm watching this show, I think it's going to be funny, and it is funny, but then I'm like catching on that it's like, it's deeper than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, I'm going to watch this show because it's a new show, and I want to be like, oh, let me get a laugh, right? It's a little dicky, right? I'm going to sit here and laugh. And then I start connecting to it which I didn't expect. I'm like, no, I don't want that. But then like, I'm like, maybe I do want that. You know, maybe I do want that. I wanted to be distracted at first. I was distracted at first. And then I start relating. I'm like, no, I don't want to relate because then I'll think about the things that bum me out a little bit. But then when you, like, I was like, then I connected with it and then I watched it that third time and I was like, I want it. Like, I want to feel that. I want to be like, yo, like those last couple episodes where everything gets all like very kind of serious and things happening. I'm like, I want to feel that. I don't want to be distracted from it anymore because I want to see somebody else's perspective of it, even though it's like dramatized for a TV show or whatever, but it's based on reality.
And also, I feel like in a lot of ways you validate your own feelings when that stuff. I also like not to like keep like internalizing, but this is our podcast, so we can talk about
we can
us.
do whatever we want.
The what was I saying? Oh, beauty of that show and what I like when it happens to me is like when people don't know what to make of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I put out a video and people are like, wait, what's the comment you're saying? You know what I mean? Because it's about conflicting it's about conflicting feelings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying this, but I'm acknowledging that this other side exists. Like, and that's to me where the funniness is like everyone being so black or white, and you can't be that.
Right.
You know, like you can't. So it's like, is this show just like comedy? Is it drama? Like, is it? It's like, no, it's just it's real. So it's all these things. It's, you know, it can be both a fart joke and very serious. And you can be very serious about a fart joke.
Yes.
Like, that's like,
thank God.
You know, like, I don't know. That's to me. Yo, that's like what it is to me, though.
That's just your opinion, man.
That's just like Europeans, man. They don't use deodorant. They're chain smoking constantly. They always zip their track jacket up all the way.
Name one distraction. Name one of your go-to distractions for
MLB
when.
Network.
What?
MLB Network.
MLB Network.
Yeah.
Like when you're feeling like you got that little itch and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna. I guess I should preface like, okay, let's do it that way. MLB Network for what reason? That's just like a healthy, like, I'm just gonna sit down, watch.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, let me just put this on. It'll drown out whatever is going on.
Gotcha. How about a like happy distraction? Like when you want to feel good rather than feel just like satisfied. When I want to like a little boost of like positivity or happiness. What's a distraction for you?
Does rubbing Kathleen's feet count?
I mean, does that make you feel better?
Oh, so much better.
Then there you go, rubbing Kathleen's feet.
Like, can you put your feet
All right, that's good. And then what about?
I like her very much. I like that woman very much.
I like that woman too. Hi, Kathleen. And how about for the like watching your face? I'm trying to gauge what's going on. How about for the negative for like let's call it, for lack of a better term, like a spiral moment. What's a distraction?
Dude, I don't know.
Because like sometimes you can't catch it, right? Sometimes it's like inevitable. What about? Do you think like putting on metal in your headphones is like would be an example of that?
It's good at night. That's really good at night. That's really good to like just quiet the voices. Just like, okay, everybody, shut up.
Yep.
We're going to bed. But like today, I almost spiraled today. I caught it.
Good. That's awesome. Good for you. If I had a sound thing, I'd give you like a crowd saying yay. Yeah, the air horn.
I had a glass of orange juice on this snack table that I keep my computer on. And Kathleen only gets a half hour for lunch. And she made sandwiches for us, and she
Yep.
was bringing over a sandwich, and I moved my computer and I knocked over the orange juice onto the floor.
No.
And I immediately was like, she's gonna spend time doing this and not enjoying a lunch, and then
Right.
she's gonna have to go back to work, and like I ruined her whole life.
Right.
I ruined her whole life. She's never gonna love me again. And
Of course, because
I'm
the
gonna
orange juice
die
fell.
alone.
Right.
You know, you know, how am I going to get up the stairs with all my stuff? Just like the spiraliest spiral, just whoo.
Right.
Um,
Because that's going to be the straw. The orange juice on the floor. That's going to be the thing. That's it. You know?
Yeah, right.
But how'd you catch it? What'd you do?
Just the spiraliest spiral, and then I don't even know. I just tried to like make, I tried to help her. She was like, she didn't seem that upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was like, oh no. Like she was bummed, but she wasn't like, she didn't like start slamming stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well if she, I know she's not getting this half hour back, but like this isn't the only reason that half hour sucks.
Right.
Also, like, corporations not valuing their employees. There's a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
And a half hour for lunch is a ridiculously short amount of time, and no one should be expected to be able to go get lunch, eat it, and get back to work in a half hour. It's an unfair thing. And when workers aren't taking their 15-minute breaks, you're not giving them, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get actually, like, just workers being taken advantage of. And all that stuff started, like, my socialist viewpoint started, like, in my head, and I was like, all right, well, it's not totally my fault, and, I'll make it up to her.
Yeah.
For my boots off. I'll somehow make it up to her.
So you caught it.
I caught it.
Good. I'm proud of you.
I caught it with like rational shit, not a distraction, not avoidance.
Right. No, that's great. That's great because I mean, if we've talked in the past about how the irrational part of you takes hold pretty wildly and will not let go. So that's like a good little moment. I mean, that's for me to hear that. Puts
one of your flag points.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Yeah, this a little, your little checkpoint, your little put a flag in it.
What are your go-tos? I mean, I imagine George is probably a big one.
George is a big one. If I need to talk to somebody, and it's like I need to get a lot of words or sound out of my body because I feel like sometimes just expelling volume from your voice for me anyway helps distract me from something. And what I'll do is I'll play with George. I'll get very vocal with him and be like, who wants to get, do you want to, like that whole like dog talk that you do.
Who wants to distract me from the water in the basement? Who wants to distract me? You want to distract me?
Who wants to talk me off a ledge?
Forget about the water.
But it's so, I mean, it's like one of the things is just like, asking him if he wants to go for a walk or if he wants to run around the backyard or whatever. And like getting a reaction from him is always like such a great thing. Like seeing him, his eyes light up and he like gets his like squiggly body and he like runs outside and he doesn't know why, but we're both excited. So we're both talking to each other and it's like,
we're gonna do something cool, I bet.
Yeah.
Cool look in your head.
He's, I'm gonna run around and you're gonna tell me to do it again and again. All right, cool, let's go. So yeah, no, George is definitely a distraction, and he's a happy distraction because he's so cute, he's so tiny, and his existence is so little. And I always ask him why he's so little because nobody's answered yet, so he doesn't know why. I don't know why.
If he answered, would you know that it's time to check yourself back into a
hospital?
Or would you just talk to him for a few months?
I would probably, I would probably get the most out of the conversation as I could because I knew it probably wouldn't last forever because nothing good lasts forever in my life. So that would be another one of them. So yeah, George is one.
You know I'm gonna die alone.
I mean, exercising now that I finally sprung the money and found all the things I needed to build a gym of what I was looking for. It's like being able to go in the garage, even though it was 20 degrees yesterday, and my garage is a garage. It's not heated. I have a little space heater next to where I work out, but like being able to just walk outside, open the garage, close the garage, and then work out like how I want to. Major plus in my column. Like I've been wanting to do this for years since I moved back from California, and a lot of people know this by now, but like working out how I want to work out, not like what I'm given at like a Planet Fitness, is like there's a big disconnect in what I want to do versus what you can do at certain gyms. And found the plates, found the bar, found the space, and here I am. I can go in my garage and just like the other day, I was like super just like aggro feeling. I just had like kind of like we've talked about feeling like something's on the cusp of like a little bit of a spiral or just like a bad mood. You know, it doesn't have to be like these major things every time, but you just kind of like, you know, my mood wasn't the best. And you know what? If I work out for 45 minutes and lift really heavy, I know I'm going to feel great. And you know what happens? All I concentrate on is working out, lifting the weight, and at the end, your body is completely like reacting to that rather than the thing you were, or me anyway, thinking about 45 minutes earlier. You know, so working out, George, and you know, my distraction way earlier, one of my biggest distraction things, and I will always stand by it, is drawing and doodling and doing the circles and the bubbles and stuff that I was doing when I started at the psychiatric hospital with the program and stuff. I started doing that in the classroom like the second day, and then I kept doing them ever since, because if I feel my brain or if I feel my thoughts getting, you know, loud, if I feel like I want to put myself into a bad spot, I'd just be like, you know what, let me pick up these pens and this paper and just go and like put those like feelings and those thoughts onto paper. And that's a really good distraction, because it's like you're creating something and you can sit there and you can look at it when you're done too. What I liked to do was kind of write a mood with it, or like make sure I knew what date. I would always date them. Mm-hmm. And maybe write what you were thinking, like a word. So like if you look at them, you can know what you were thinking, but some of them you don't want to be reminded.
Don't take this the wrong way.
I'm not gonna.
I feel like if you found a stack of those all dated,
mm-hmm.
you'd be like, oh, this guy's a lunatic. Like, he murdered the other people in this house. That's obviously why he lives alone. No offense.
No, none taken. None taken. It's like when they find the dude in Seven, and when they find all his notebooks, in like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
What's in the sandbag? What's in the sandbag?
What's in the sandbag?
It turns out George has been just a stuffed dog this whole time.
He's a marionette that I crafted.
And we were worried you were going to hear his voice, and that was the thing. Turns out it's been a stuffed dog this whole time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I never got into that, like the drawing thing. My buddy, you know Ross, Enjoy the Ride Records, Ross?
No, I don't think so.
Good dude, man. He'd really, you would get along with him really great. He for Hanukkah, he got me adult coloring books.
Yep.
One is Friends quotes.
Yep.
And the other, I forget the other one was. The other one was funny too, but the Friends quote one was like, oh my god. But it was a Friends coloring book, and I don't know, man. I didn't do it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, Kathleen was like, "Oh, you should get into it. It's so calming." And the doodle thing that you were doing, I was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea, but that's not a me
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know, just like therapy's not a me thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's just certain.
Just like
Not
addressing
everyone-
that your internal problems that you've had since you were a teenager aren't a you thing. You know, it's
Oh, you want to do that?
no offense. No offense.
Yeah, no offense taken. But you know, just not
Yeah,
every like.
I get it.
You know, just like some people are good on Zoloft, and some people are good on Klonopin, and
Yeah.
some people are good on Lexapro, and so you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
not everything's for everyone.
Right.
Like, that's why there's 800,000
Of
flavors
course.
of tea.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not everything is for everyone. Not, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not my cup of tea. Literally.
Literally. No, I don't like that
Literally,
one. It
there's
tastes like
800
like
flavors.
dirt. I don't like that one.
Ugh, I hate tea. Just like I don't like tea.
You know what I started? You know, of course, this is so weird. You know what I've started doing at night?
Tea.
Drinking a cup, like a ritual of, all right, it's 10 o'clock. Let's wind down and make a cup of tea. And like, I'm not like a tea guy, never have been, but I always have it in the house for whatever reason. But like now I think it's the ritual is more important than the actual thing that I'm consuming. I think it's like this sets a point. The day's over. This is a calming time. All right, 10 o'clock. I don't want to stay up late. Let's have your cup of tea. Let's watch a couple YouTube videos. And then like when you're done with the tea, you go to bed. And I found that that's been really helpful to getting myself on a schedule of getting to bed earlier too, which is like a huge thing.
Do you ever have pea soup and a cup of tea? And just like a bunch, it's just like pea soup, pea soup, pea soup, pea soup, cup of tea, cup of tea, cup of tea, cup of tea. Do you ever?
No, I don't ever. No,
Listen, we're a gift,
we are.
and the fact that only 2 people are watching, and one of them is me, is really just
It really goes to show you how special we are.
people are missing out. Is what I'm just gonna say, that we're a gift.
Yeah.
And no one's ever going to see this part of the video. Because even if you were watching, you'd be like, oh, 57 minutes, I'm done. I've never heard the end of any podcast ever.
No, I don't think anybody. Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever heard the end of a podcast. Yeah, actually, you know what's funny that you say that real quick is that shout out to the Punk Rock MBA podcast. Our friend Aram, who is helping us out, was on this podcast. Was on that podcast, Punk Rock NBA podcast. He talked about lots of things. Punk rock was a lot of the subject matter. But what you just said about not hearing the end of a podcast, the host of the podcast, I listened to the entire thing, and he goes, if you've made it this far, I want to thank you so much for listening, because it was probably one of the first podcasts that I actually listened to the end and when they signed off and such. So that was really funny that it actually was with the Ram. I listened to a full podcast, and it's a really cool listen. So I suggest you go listen to that. Just talk about, different.
His YouTube channel is massive.
Yeah. He started on
100,000
on
subscribers.
YouTube. Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, he's just someone who's really well versed in music and has opinions, and it's a cool podcast and YouTube channel. So on that note, I think we're going to sign off from our live stream.
But I know about music and have opinions. I have the most opinions in the world. We're signing off. We're done.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to just sign off on the live stream. We can keep the audio going. But thanks for joining us. We'll be here next week.
None of this matters. No one's listening.
I'll see you later.